1896, an internal composition engine, Samuel Langley built the first successful flying model, and he launched the model with wingspans up to 15 feet, which means more than half a mile. In 1903, Wilbur and Orville Wright built the first sustained flight with a powered, controlled airplane in North Carolina, 852 feet over the ground in 59 seconds. In 1905, they introduced the Flyer, the world's first practical airplane. The year before introducing the Flyer in 1904, a German professor, Ludwig, presented one of the most important papers in the history of aerodynamics, an 8-page document describing the concept of a fixed boundary layer, a layer of air on the surface of an aircraft wing. In 1910, Ellie, the first pilot that takes off a Curtiss biplane flight from the deck of a ship, anchored in Hamptons Road, Virginia. In 1914, Lawrence Spire demonstrated first automatic pilot. A gyroscope linked to sensor keeps the craft level and traveling in a straight line without aid from the human pilot. From 1914 to 1918, during World War I, dramatic improvements happened in aerodynamics, structures, control, and system design. Airplanes required being in higher speed, higher altitude, and great maneuverability drive. In 1917, Hugo Junkers, a German professor of mechanics, introduced the Junkers J4, built a large metal airplane of a relatively light-weighted aluminum. In 1919, U.S. Navy aviator in crisis NC-4 flying boat made the first airplane crossing of the North Atlantic. From 1925 to 1926, the introduction of a new generation of lightweight, air-cooled radial engines revolutionized began, making bigger, faster planes as possible. In 1928, Edwin Link introduced the first electromechanical flight simulator, and it used for virtual all-U.S. pilot training during World War II. After 7 years, in 1935, a British scientist named Sir Robert Whitson made the first practical radar for radio detection and ranging, to detect incoming aircraft and provide information to intercept bombers. From 1939 to 1945, during the World War II, the British developed airplanes detecting radar just in time for the Battle of Britain. At the same time, the Germans developed radio wave navigation techniques. In 1963, first small jet aircraft to enter mass production, the prototype Learjet 23 makes its first flight. It can carry 7 passengers, including 2 pilots, in a fully preserved cabin. It became the first small jet aircraft to enter mass production. In 1976, the Concorde SST is introduced into commercial airline service by both Great Britain and France. It carries 100 passengers, but the cost per passenger is high, ensuring that flight remained the privilege of the wealthy. In 1995, U.S. aircraft manufacturer named Boeing made the first aircraft named twin-engine 777, the biggest 2-engine jet ever to fly and the first aircraft produced through computer-aided design and engineering. From 1996 to 1998, NASA teams with the Americans and the Russians aerospace industries in a joint research program to develop a second-generation supersonic airline for the 21st century. The centerpiece in the Tu-144LL, a first-generation Russian supersonic jetliner modified into a flying laboratory.